The Witch in Love by Senka Dodig. In a nameless distant land, where a day lasts 8 and a night 16 hours, there is one single mountain. Nobody knows how high it is. No one has seen its peaks for years. They have been hidden by a purple fog. 5 stony, narrow, bare cliffs rise from one massive rock towards the sky, resembling 5 long witches' fingers. That is how the mountain has got its name, the Witch's Hand. Legend has it that a long time ago, before more than 10 centuries, in the regions surrounding the Witch's Hand, there lived a lot of people. The soil was fertile, the river abundant in fish, and the forest in various animals. The fields echoed with the songs of the villagers and merry laughter of the children. Life was carefree and happy, up until one night. It was summer, and a fierce storm was raging around the region. The rain rattled eerily against the village rooftops. Lightnings blazed incessantly. Thunder tore the night. And then one major thunderstrike shook the ground so fiercely that the houses jumped up in the air. The thunder hit the grove on the verge of the village 3 times in a row. Then again 3 times. On the spot where the thunders hit, great purple flames could be seen, and even the pouring rain couldn't extinguish them. The oldest man in the village, a merchant, uttered quietly, like a prophet, "When a triple thunder sets the forest afire in a rainy summer night, that is the sign of a witch being born." And that night a triple thunder struck twice and cut through the darkness of the night with its blazing blast. 2 witches were born, 2 sisters. After that night, nothing strange happened for years. The witches were still small and their powers weak. Everything was as before, except for the purple fog that started appearing around the mountain's peak. It started as small purple wisps, tiny clouds that gathered and bonded together until they formed a thick shroud and mantled the mountain tops. Like thick purple hair, the fog hung reaching almost halfway down the mountain. It didn't disperse either during the day or during the night, for 18 whole years. "This doesn't feel right," mused the merchant, muttering under his breath. It was summer again, but instead of sunny days, a sequence of rainy days followed. Purple rain kept pouring incessantly for 7 days and 7 nights from those purple clouds around the Witch's Hand. On the 8th day, the village miller found a lamb from his herd slain. The day after, a sudden wind blew off the roof from one of the houses, and then, as suddenly, it stopped blowing. The day after that, all the glass in the church's windows broke. What made the villagers' hair stir was just fun for the witches. "Hi, hi, hi! What shall we prepare for them down there tomorrow?" asked younger sister witch Rhea. Her black eyes were curiously burning, like a live coal, and her long, as the night dark, black hair falling in waves down her back. Her red lips, stretched in a smile, revealed pearly white and shiny teeth. She wasn't pretty, she was gorgeous. The other sister, her elder sister Rua, wasn't nearly as pretty. Her nose was big, her lips thin, her eyes squinted and small, deep set in their cavities. Only her long, fire-red hair was beautiful. "What would you like?" she replied pungently. "I don't know, I'm bored. Let's fly on our brooms over the roofs. Hey, and how about we clog the chimneys?" "I know. Teacher's daughter has a birthday tomorrow, the little freckled Sarah, and her major birthday present is the return of her elder brother Sano. He will be the next village doctor." "You mean we should kidnap him?" asked Rhea, giggling. "And how about we poison him?" Rua proposed, equally giggling. "Well, whatever. Both. I am bored," replied Rhea, laughing. The next day, on a winding forest road, they placed a trap for Sano. They lowered a net from above and wrapped him in it, tied him to their brooms, and flew through the purple fog into their witchy cave home. Sano was handsome, and both witches observed him with wonder. "What shall we do with him next?" asked Rhea somewhat insecurely. "We shall decide tomorrow," concluded Rua abruptly. They were sitting beside him, watching him in silence, and then, little by little, they started a conversation. Sano was telling them stories about the big city in which he had studied to become a doctor, about herbs, strange powders, and pills. He talked and talked all night long. His words murmured softly as the babbling of a brook. He would smile now and then with his beautiful white smile, as if he was smiling to two of his best friends. The two sisters didn't even notice when dawn broke. They were listening to him head over heels in love. But when he turned his eyes towards the beautiful Rhea, his look was more piercing. When he smiled at her, his smile was especially charming, magical. Who said that only witches had magical powers? When Rua realized that Sano was looking at Rhea with love in his eyes, she got so jealous that she decided, instead of killing Sano, to kill her own sister. But it wasn't an easy task to kill a witch. There was only one way of doing that, and it was written on the last page of the witch's book of secrets. Hidden behind a huge rock next to the cave's entrance, Rua read out loud, not knowing that Sano, standing on the other side of the rock, was listening. Mix juice from 6 purple flowers with mashed bodies of 12 ants. 12 seconds after a witch has swallowed this mixture, she will turn into a purple flower with black leaves, a flower that never withers, exclaimed Rua, clapping her hands, completely absorbed by the hatred towards her sister. Purple flowers grew on the summit of the witch's hand. Sano followed Rua while she was picking the flowers and watched her make the potion. When she lay down to rest, he stole the thick mixture, snuck to Rua, and plugged her nose, and when she opened her mouth to catch her breath, he poured the mixture down her throat. Rua started to struggle, but the mighty potion had already done its job. She shrunk so much that Sano held her with only 2 fingers. He put her down on the ground, right beside the cave entrance. Rua tried to run away. She ran and ran, but her legs turned into roots and penetrated deep into the ground. Her arms turned into black leaves, and her head into a purple flower. She is still standing like that up on the mountain, far away, in that nameless land. "Well, now I just have to take care of the other one, and then I'm free," mumbled Sano thoughtfully, as if hesitating. Rhea was approaching. The wind was blowing her black hair in all directions, and her black eyes shone, watching him with love. Sano looked at her astonished. Never in his life had he seen anything so beautiful. He knew he wouldn't be able to kill her. "I will tell her the whole story, no matter what happens," decided Sano, muttering under his breath. He told her all about Rua's jealous plans and showed her what was left of the mixture. "I cannot hurt you. I love your voice, your smile, your moves, and if need be, I will remain your captive forever," he whispered in a velvety voice. His words made something move inside the witch's heart. Some ice melted, and inside the witch, in love, a woman awakened. Rhea was so moved that she started crying. Purple tears. She took him by the hand and brought him to the witch's book of secrets. She opened the book in the middle. The pages were blank, not a word was written. Rhea wiped her tears and passed her wet fingers over the page. Purple letters started appearing, springing up like mushrooms after the rain. If somebody falls in love with a witch so much that he is ready to give up his freedom, he will extinguish her powers, and she will cry them in purple tears. Her powers will last only 1 more night. Rhea looked at him and gave him a sign with her hand to look at the sun that was setting. It was the beginning of her last night as a witch. She whistled to call her broom and sat on it. "Come, I think your family down there is eager to see you," she said to Sano in a warm voice. Embraced, they flew over the forest, the nearby river, the meadows, and the fields. They circled some more around the witch's hand, and at dawn they landed near the village. They left the broom beside the house of the fat miller and walked towards Sano's father. Everyone was happy to see him back safe and sound. Sano and Ria got married at the end of that summer, and the following year they had 2 beautiful daughters. The entire village, the old and the young, just loved them. The girls were so charming and delightful with their vivid purple eyes, simply bewitching. The purple fog around the witch's hand thinned out and disappeared, and all 5 finger-shaped thin cliffs could be seen. Purple rains never poured again. My dear little ones, remember, no heart is so evil and cold that it couldn't be melted by the fire of love. But if it still doesn't happen, as an old saying teaches us, it means that the flames were not strong enough.